Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson had no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout?
It's honest, but again, I want to see them fight. I want to see some aggression. Tank would have that if it was anyone he actually felt was worth it. I just don't know if he thinks Jake's worth it. Again, I get that feeling that he just is there.
Jake Paul has made headlines by bringing Shakur Stevenson into his training camp ahead of his upcoming fight with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. According to Paul, Stevenson personally expressed interest in helping him prepare, a move that immediately boosted the seriousness of his camp. Paul explained that his team has recruited several talented southpaw sparring partners, fighters who are smaller in size but highly skilled, capable of mimicking Tank's style effectively. The inclusion of Stevenson was particularly surprising, given no prior connection between the two. Paul believes this high-level preparation will sharpen his skills for the challenge ahead.
Yeah, in terms of sparring, we got some great guys coming in. Some really experienced southpaws that are smaller. I think Montana Love is coming in. Shakur Stevenson wants to come in. Jermaine Ortiz. We're gonna hit up Erickson Lubin, some of these guys. So we're just gonna bring in a plethora of fighters that are fast, quick, shifty south.
Some analysts have voiced skepticism over the sudden partnership between Jake Paul and Shakur Stevenson, labeling it both unusual and suspicious. They point out that Stevenson appears to have positioned himself for sparring work in a way similar to Jaron "Boots" Ennis, who once assisted Canelo Alvarez during his preparation for Terrence Crawford. However, that scenario carried more logic, since Canelo and Boots already had a family connection, providing some background to their collaboration. In contrast, Stevenson has no personal or professional ties with Paul, which makes their link far more puzzling. This lack of history has led observers to suspect that money was a decisive factor. Many believe Paul likely offered Stevenson substantial financial incentives to join his camp. As a result, the move is widely seen as business-driven rather than fueled by mutual boxing respect, sparking debate over the unusual nature of this new alliance.
Shakur Stevenson reached out to Jake Paul in support of him preparing for Gervonta Davis. Help me understand, what is the difference between Boots Ennis reaching out to Canelo Alvarez in support of his preparation for Terrence Crawford versus Shakur Stevenson reaching out to Jake Paul in preparation for his fight with Gervonta Davis? Tell me, what is the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. The Ennis family actually had a relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Shakur Stevenson had no relationship with Jake Paul. None. We heard, oh, Boots is a sparring partner. How much you got paid for that? So now, isn't that also applicable to Shakur Stevenson? Is he not also a sellout? I don't want to hear anything about this fight. It's against a YouTube, it doesn't matter. No, Shakur Stevenson is an elite level fighter that is going to be a sparring partner to a YouTuber, and he reached out to him directly to make it happen?
Shakur Stevenson has addressed his perspective on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup, offering a balanced explanation. He noted that if he were in Tank's position, he would approach the fight from two angles. On the business side, Stevenson acknowledged the financial upside and massive attention such an event could generate. However, as a competitor, he admitted he personally would not accept that kind of matchup. His comments highlight the contrast between viewing boxing strictly as a business opportunity versus treating it as pure competition. While some critics question his decision to spar with Paul, Stevenson has been transparent, admitting financial factors play a role. He emphasized how today's boxing world often blurs the boundary between sporting credibility and entertainment-driven choice.
Can you blame a man for taking that opportunity? Because this is prize fighting, right? It's about making money and securing your family. Can you fault him for that?
It's two sides of that.
Okay.
Like, it just depends. Like, as a fighter, just because I had a draw with somebody, for me, I may run it back. But in a business aspect, if you run it back and you lose to Lamont, and then the Jake Paul fight is presented, you may not make as much money, or the fight may not be as lucrative as it was before you lost. So as a business, I understand. I ain't gonna hate on the decision, but as a man
Your
and
pride
as
will
a
get in the way.
fighter with my integrity,
Yeah, but isn't there a price for everything, Shakur? Like, even if you had a draw with somebody and you were offered 10 times more than you ever, I don't know what the number is, but it's a lot more than he's ever made.
At the official press conference, sparks flew when Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis faced off, escalating into a heated shove that instantly grabbed headlines and social media attention. While the moment looked intense, many analysts argue it was more calculated than spontaneous, another example of boxing's modern entertainment playbook. In today's fight market, such confrontations are often staged to generate viral clips and drive pay-per-view interest. The push between Paul and Tank fits perfectly into the storyline of spectacle meeting sport. It frames the matchup as a clash of contrasts, the bigger, stronger fighter testing whether sheer size can overwhelm the smaller, faster, more skilled technician. By blending drama with intrigue, the buildup ensures the fight appeals not only to hardcore fans, but also to casual viewers curious to see how size and skill collide.
Southpaw orthodox matchup, left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you could even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes with that. Tank, man. Tank said, run from the bullies, get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Kisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves. It's still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch. And there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral. And both these guys are going to make a shit ton.
Despite the showmanship surrounding the promotion, boxing insiders emphasize that Gervonta Tank Davis is taking this fight extremely seriously. Analysts have studied his body language and training approach, noting a fighter who is locked in and fully focused. The stakes, they argue, are far greater than casual fans might assume. A victory over Jake Paul not only guarantees Davis a massive payday, but also expands his reach into mainstream audiences. Experts caution Paul against underestimating Tank the way he previously downplayed older names like Mike Tyson in promotional talk. Unlike exhibition opponents, Davis is in his prime and feared for his relentless ferocity in the ring. If Paul enters this matchup too casually, the consequences could be devastating. Davis's preparation shows he understands both the financial upside and the reputational risk of losing to a YouTuber turned boxer.
In this particular in the press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash. Like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn.
Boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult has voiced a strong opinion on what a Gervonta Tank Davis victory would represent. He argues that if Tank defeats Jake Paul, he would instantly become a hero not only to the boxing community, but also to casual fans. The reasoning is simple. Many people are eager to finally see Paul knocked out after his rapid rise from social media fame to headlining boxing events. From this perspective, Tank's win would be more than just another victory. It would satisfy a widespread desire among fans. Paul's success has long divided audiences, drawing in younger followers while frustrating traditional boxing purists. If Davis delivers a knockout, it would solidify his role as a fighter who humbled Paul, elevating his reputation both inside and outside the ring. This interpretation frames the fight as a cultural clash between boxing pride and entertainment spectacle.
Gervonta Tank Davis stops that. If he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it. Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5", he's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars. That you guys don't want to admit it. Don't bull jive. Think about it. He will be a boxing hero. It will go viral over and over. It's the same thing. No, not even the same. It's not even close. But there was a viral reaction when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou.
Anthony Joshua can destroy the champion.
When AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou in the first round, it was like, now get out of here.
Former champion turned analyst Timothy Bradley has offered a blunt take on the upcoming matchup, labeling it an easy money fight for Gervonta Tank Davis. Bradley insists that Tank's proven skill set and years of experience against elite-level opposition make Jake Paul's challenge appear insignificant by comparison. In his view, there is no realistic path for Paul to pull off an upset, framing the bout instead as a low-risk, high-reward scenario for Davis. Bradley stressed that the event is less about genuine competitiveness and more about capitalizing on Paul's massive fame to draw revenue. From his perspective, Paul's presence ensures big business, while Tank secures a likely win that further boosts his mainstream profile. Bradley's remarks echo a broader sentiment within boxing circles, that this fight is a calculated financial play rather than a sporting test. Adding to the intrigue, the decision to stage the clash in Florida has also sparked debate.
That it ain't fixed, because check this out, Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, it's gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no, yeah, false sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no, I told y'all it's the size of the heart, right? In that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please. Please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro.
Analyst Paulie Malignaggi has shared a perspective, suggesting that both the matchup and its location may be part of a broader strategy to turn Gervonta "Tank" Davis into a mainstream superstar. He argued that if Davis defeats Jake Paul on a major stage, particularly in the U.S., it would introduce him to a far wider audience beyond traditional boxing fans. While the exact motives behind the fight remain unclear, the business angle is obvious. Paul attracts attention and massive crowds, while Davis offers credibility and explosive talent. Together, they create a blend of spectacle and legitimacy. Hosting the fight in Florida further boosts accessibility for fans, media, and celebrities, ensuring maximum visibility and cultural impact.
There's obviously a reason why the networks wanted to make Gervonta Davis a star.
But let's look at it. And Robert, I want to ask you this. When you looked at the numbers for Canelo, his fight against Crawford, 41 million viewers. That's what they got. It was the most viewed championship fight of this century. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson got 108 million. It got more than double, significantly more than double. Is it the idea of the streaming services, Netflix, where they're following the numbers, Robert, and that's where the numbers are?
It's what we're coming to, the real fights, the real fights where they deserve to be seen throughout the world are, it's great. They have good numbers, but when you see guys, that are YouTubers, guys that are 60-year-old retired and coming back, and getting 2 times more than what a real fight, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of embarrassing, kind of sad that we're getting there, that we're in that situation. But I also can't blame them, they're all making a lot of money. That's why Tank is doing it. I think it's ridiculous. It's a joke. But I can't go against that either. He's making a lot of money. Jake Paul is doing his thing. Jake Paul is he makes these fights happen and gets the views. So people are tuning in. That's the problem, that people are tuning in.
Promoter Narkisabay has sparked discussion with his remarks about the fight's rules. He confirmed that the bout will be contested with 10-ounce gloves, a standard choice for lighter divisions, but noteworthy given the size gap between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis. When pressed about whether a rehydration clause would be in place, Baydarian declined to provide details, leaving uncertainty over whether Davis will face post-weigh-in weight restrictions. Such clauses often play a crucial role, as they limit how much a fighter can rehydrate before entering the ring. The ambiguity has fueled speculation among fans and analysts that Paul's camp may have secured conditions to narrow the competitive gap by withholding certain specifics. Promoters keep intrigue high, while ensuring the lead-up to the event remains tightly monitored.
95 max weight.
Okay.
10 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
In 12-ounce clubs. And most of you guys know boxing, right? Most of the fights are with 10-ounce clubs. Fighters spar in 16-ounce clubs. 12-ounce and 10-ounce gives you a little bit more safety, which is the key here, given the size difference, but there's a massive experience difference. We will have 3 world-class judges ringside that the commission has approved. to ensure there's a rendered decision for the fans. It will not go on their record, but there will be 3 experienced judges, some of the best in the business, giving their view of who won the fight.
So let me just follow up with this then. You know, the Florida statute says that it means an exhibition means a boxing, kickboxing, or mixed martial arts.
You saw the exhibition of Floyd and Logan.
Okay.
So just go with that, and if they weren't trying to hit each other,
Fair
then tell
enough.
me they weren't trying to hit each other. That's up to Tank. What I can tell you is Tank is focused on coming in the best shape of his life. It's not about gaining weight. It's about having the speed advantage.
What can we expect on the undercard? Championship fights?
Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, we'll announce 5 fights, 4 of which are title fights. So yes, you can expect to see another MVP fully stacked card. No prospects on a big show like this.
What's up?
Yes, go ahead. As in, how do the fighters prepare? I mean, look, we started MVP 4 years ago with a mission to be fighter first, right? And I think like this event is exactly that. We're giving Tank a massive platform and opportunity for the world to see who that young man is. He's misunderstood in many ways, but at heart, he is a great human being who has a family and wants to do big things to make an impact on the sport and take care of his family. So we're excited about that. And in terms of preparing for this, it's no different than Mike Tyson and Taylor Serrano. It's just another big event that's on a global scale.
Is there a rehydration coach at all?
No comment.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates coming your way soon.